has a wealth of experience in brand development and product marketing. She has a talent for marketing and an eye for detail and will be able to offer advice across all areas of the marketing mix. So Katrina was really heavily involved in the branding of Evoca. So I think that you'll find what she has to talk about very, very interesting. Excuse me, I'll leave you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and it's nice to see everybody here. As Karen said, I'm going to talk to you a bit about branding and marketing and why branding is so important when you do decide, or if you decide to not only start a business but as you're working within a business, understanding how best you can promote a small business or even a large business. Branding becomes who you are and what you do in a single snapshot. So it's really important that with everything that you do, you're aware of what your product stands for, why it's unique, and why someone should choose you over a competitor. So I'm going to start by going through some of the more well-known brands that you may or may not be aware of. So can anyone tell me what this brand is? No. And this one? Coca-Cola.
Apple.
And
KFC.
not quite. Everybody knows the Golden Arches, and everybody knows the majority of those brands that I just went through. Apart from Coca-Cola, none of those brands or none of those logos have words. Yet we know them as an icon, we know them as an image. And that's because of their branding strategies. That's because when they are promoting, when they are marketing, they are the core message. They are the core element that is promoted and marketed across anything that they do. And obviously, you know, McDonald's is one of the ones that do it very, very well. So I'm just going to go into the definition of a brand. It's a bit wordy, but I think it's a very, very good description. So if you bear with me, I'll read through it. A brand is a product, service or concept that is publicly distinguished from other products, services or concepts so that it can be easily communicated and usually marketed. A brand name is the name of a distinctive product, service or concept. Branding is the process of creating and disseminating the brand name. Branding can be applied to the entire corporate entity as well as to individual product and service names. Brands are usually protected from use by others by securing a trademark or service mark from an authorised agency. Before trademarking, you usually check if it's been organised before. You can hire expensive attorneys, or you can go through a trademark process yourself. In looking at branding and trademarking and name, you can also copyright and patent products as well, which if you have something that's unique is something that if you are deciding to start a small business that you might want to look at as well. Brands are often expressed in the forms of logos, graphic representations. In computers, a recent example of widespread brand application is the Intel Inside label provided to manufacturers to use Intel microchips. Companies' brands and public awareness of them is used as a factor in evaluating a company. Corporations sometimes hire market research firms to study public recognition of brand names as well as attitudes towards brands. And a famous advertising copywriter definition of a brand is the intangible sum of the product's attributes, its name, packaging and price, its history, its reputation and the way it's advertised. So although it's very long-winded, it kind of encompasses everything a brand should be. And like with McDonald's and KFC and Target and all of those brands, there's very clear icons that are utilised, that are thrown, that are splashed, that as I've got a 2-year-old that we can drive past McDonald's and they know that that's McDonald's. So they're very simple, very iconic images, graphics, logos that can be utilised. There's also some research at the moment that suggests a lot of icons or pictures have have been taken. So a lot of companies are looking towards words or, for example, Evoca College. Evoca by itself as a word doesn't actually mean anything. It is derived from the word evoke, but as a word in the English language, it doesn't exist. So ad agencies and branding companies are moving away from, say, a traditional emblem or an icon or a logo and moving towards things that are slightly different. So that's also something to keep in mind. Now moving on to the organisation's image is based on people's perception of what the image of the organisation is like. It is influenced by what people have seen, read or heard, experienced or observed in dealing with clients or working with the company. When you go about creating a brand, it's about being different and delivering the unanticipated. It's to last the difference, you must challenge, and to last the distance, brands must challenge you and capture your attention. The more original they are, the greater their impact, and the greater their impact, the greater their success. So when you're new in a marketplace, what you want to do is if you're offering hamburgers and McDonald's has been in the market for years and years and you're Hungry Jack's and you come in, obviously you need to say the burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. You're not saying that they're better than McDonald's. You're not saying they're better than KFC burgers. You're just saying the burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. And in that statement creates a different thing in your mind, different thing in your mind, different thing in your mind. And it's how you perceive that statement that makes the recognition of that brand your own. And when you are creating a brand, you need to have a look at alternative spellings. And if someone spells it incorrectly, or if they don't understand it, or if someone's already got it, or you need to understand what someone else may perceive your brand to be when you are creating something new. So the Evoca College brand, we wanted something new because we are a new concept of education. We aren't like every other training company out there. We aren't like going to a TAFE. We wanted to create an individual learning plan that's tailored to your needs and your lifestyle. And at the end of the day, we will help you learn to achieve. And as you will see on our logo, on our everything that we have, our motto is learn to achieve, and that's what we attempt to do, and that encompasses everything that we are here. So when you go to a professional branding agency, they come up with a whole range of different things, and part of that is different variations on, say, your logo, and you will quite possibly get something called a brand standards guide, and it will go through every element of what you can and can't do. It will have a look at changes in colour. It will look at sizing. It will tell you your specific colours in a Pantone swatch, so that if you're doing signage, if you're doing printing, if you're doing web stuff, you know exactly what colours your brand, your logo should be, so that you don't end up with, unfortunate as it is, variations in colour on different elements of marketing collateral. So again, you're just looking at different typography. What's your font going to be? What's your text going to be? What size should it be? Should you have different sizes for headings and footers, and what that should all look like? So we had that developed by an external agency, and then from that point on, we then developed all of our collateral in-house moving forward. So part of this makes up our brand statement and our brand promise. So directly tailored to you, your world, your life, your reality, your success. And the biggest thing that you need to understand or need to look at when you are branding a business is that you yourself understand exactly what you're offering and why you're offering it. Because if you think one day we're going to do it this way and then the next day we're going to do it that way, then everything just becomes uncertain and you don't know which way you want your business to go. So you really need to understand exactly what you're offering and why you're offering it and to whom you're offering it. So that's where research comes into play. But we just go through some of our statements. Again, this is all part of our branding. And all of these form a massive part of who we are and what we do. So I thought I'd throw a few images in just so that you can understand. Some of you might be Beenleigh based, some of you might be Brisbane based or Woodridge. So I just wanted you to get a feel for our branches and what this is in progress. It hasn't happened yet if anyone is from Brisbane. But you can see that we have the exact same entry sign as we do here, that our colour schemes are the same. You'll go into any branch, anywhere, just like a McDonald's, and you'll find the same colour scheme. So, Beenleigh, we've got our signage, we've got our foyer, we've got everything there. That was our launch for here. This is our distance branch, which is based at head office. So if you're doing this course via distance, technically a branch exists where we have our tutors and everything there. This is our branch at Woodridge. So again, we still have all of the same components. So no matter where you are, and Avoca College is the same. And that's again just some pictures of our launch. Morayfield, first to see Morayfield. Morayfield is coming soon. So, and again, same colour scheme that's happening. And this is where I thought I would give you a sample of our marketing collateral. And if you have a look, you'll see that everything follows the same theme. It follows a template and it follows the same format. And it's something that's really important. As you look through some of these items, you'll see that that does happen. And when, at the end of the day, you put it all together, you can actually see that there's a very definitive identity that we've created and that we need to maintain. So there's some course brochures, there's some marketing material. So everything has very much a similar flow. And these are yet to be released apart from Woodridge, but these are some motivational posters that we've created as well. So everything that we do has that same look and feel. And if anyone's seen our shopping centres, we also have our branding at shopping centres. That's right. Beenleigh Marketplace. We are there permanently. Questions? Sure.
With the colours that Avoca have chosen to use as their colours, was it, did Avoca actually choose the colours or was it presented as the best colours to highlight?
Yeah, all of that was done by our branding company. They did go through different variations, different tones, different looks and feels. Dark blue, and there's actually some really good websites out there to have a look at what different colours mean. Dark blue or the royal blue has links with integrity and honesty and knowledge and power, obviously, but resembling ocean, so it has power. And the aqua, for us, it also symbolises the sky. And our launch line, as we like to call it, is almost like our launch pad. We want to be your launch pad. So it's your elevator to success. It's your rocket ship. You know, we can get you on your way, and it's up to you to make sure you launch. And that colour also has a similar, obviously in that blue hue as well, it has similar connotation. Yeah. Other questions?
Did you create Avoca College?
No, it was all done externally through a branding company. But I was heavily involved in rolling out all of the collateral that was in that back end. So, and I work with our in-house graphic designer, and I write all the content and the copy. So all the words that you see everywhere, I do create all the wording, and then between Inia and myself, we then come up with all of the top and tail.
Do you have a worker uniforms that students can obtain and wear?
No, we haven't gone down that path yet. It has been something that's been suggested and thrown around, but we haven't gone down that path yet. But stay tuned, because we're growing quickly, so it might be something on the to-do list.
How long has Vax been established?
Our brand was officially given to us in May of last year. Australian College of Training and Employment, which is the parent company, has been around since about 2003, and a company that's also associated with ACT's Prime Learning and STS, and they've been around for at least 15 to 20 years. Yeah.
Though I'm enrolled here, can I actually go to the Woodbridge branch as well?
Yeah, you sure can. You just need to talk to Karen or one of your
So
tutors.
closer?
Yeah, absolutely. You can just talk to one of your branch managers or tutors, and they can arrange for you to swap over. So is anyone here thinking of starting a business? Yep. And is the branding something that you've thought about or spent much time considering?
Yeah.
No?
Hours and hours actually coming up with our logo. It took us about a good few months. And because I do all the research in-house,
Yep.
because I'm actually setting up a business consultancy business, so rather than pay someone else to do what I'm going to help others do,
Yep.
it took us about, how many attempts did we have? We had about 20 different versions of it, just because we went with the idea of our family logo being that's Jensen Family Enterprises, so we wanted to make sure that, and sort of was a family business. But at the same time, we didn't want it to be, the typical crest, so we spent ages of variations as well, so that when we modified different parts of the business, we could modify it to suit that particular brand, which took even more time finding something that suited. So we were lucky in the fact that we had a friend who's a graphic designer.
Yes, absolutely.
So that saved us a couple of $100 easy.
Oh, a couple of thousand, some of them. Yeah, absolutely. And have you set yourself some pretty rigorous guidelines on what you can and can't do, and how small you can make it, and what colours it can and can't be?
I've been flat out for the last week. I have done very little study over the last few weeks, especially with trying to get a lot of my stuff done ready for Friday to present to people.
Yep.
So I've been looking at, okay, how can I make everything look professional and classy, but a definite fee. I've got my own website for my business, so I've got to make sure that, my paperwork matches the website, and try to make sure that, because I've gone with black, white and red, which are the three colours for my business. Printing on black, full black paper, obviously, is not a go, so making sure there's
You reverse it back. Yep.
And so I've spent hours and hours and hours doing that, and my wife can attest to that.
Yeah. There's nothing like working in or on your own business, because it is so readily available to you to do at whatever hour you choose. So you end up spending a lot more time than you plan.
But that's
on
one
doing
thing that I've been liking, the fact that I've been trying, because I come from the Brisbane campus, so at the moment we've got 2 tutors there, because Peter, who's doing the Morrowfield campus, has been sitting there, so I've been throwing basically every time I write something up or do something for business, not only do I pass it to all the business students, who at the end of the day will be my kind of clients, but I've been throwing it to the tutors and getting feedback from just about everyone, so I kind of got lucky in that aspect that I had an easy, free source of suggestions and feedback, rather than having to, put it out there and pay someone else once again to get, feedback for me. So I got lucky in a lot of aspects.
Excellent. Great. And what about you?
No, I haven't really myself. I've just, trying to just start my business myself, start doing the course.
Yep.
Just going to learn about it as I go.
Yeah.
Step by step.
Yeah. Has some of that been helpful for you to start planting that seed of, that although you might have a really unique product, if people don't know about it, they can't buy it. And so, very interesting to be able to say, this is what I want, this is my product, this is what I want to do. But then getting that out there so that people know about it, can purchase it or can utilise the service is a whole different ball game, which sometimes, you know, can go by the wayside. But yeah, excellent. Any other questions? No? Cool. Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I hope it was helpful.